Hello, everybody. Mike from Southern California again. It's Thursday, April 23rd, 2020, and you're on the mic. So, 1 week ago today was the passing of Howard Finkel. Howard Finkel was one of the WWE's first employees through their Titan Sports Incorporated. Howard Finkel for those of you who don't know, Howard Finkel was, of course, the longtime ring announcer for the WWE through all its incarnations, going all the way back to when it was the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, or the WWWF, through the WWF times, through even into the WWE times. How the Fink, as he was often known as, made his ring announcing debut on January 17, 1977, at Madison Square Garden. And between that time and throughout the late 70s into the 80s and 90s, he had been the voice of many of the house shows, much of the television shows, as well as a number of pay-per-views. Um, let's see. He was the Madison Square Garden announcer. He was the Raw. He was basically the Raw ring announcer from 1993 through 1997. He was a SmackDown announcer for a time. Um, he, you know, he was very much a part of the WWE universe throughout his career. Um, some of his more famous calls, of course, included all five of Hulk Hogan's world title wins, as well as um, Demolition's first WWF World Tag Title win. He was also at times, at times used as a color commentator at the Madison Square Garden shows. You could very much hear his ring announcing voice on many of the older WWE programs, and later in his career, he would be doing other stuff. Um, Also, throughout his earlier days, he was involved in you know he, the Fink probably has a distinction of being one of the few ring announcers, if any, to actually be involved in some of the WWE storylines. Probably the most famous of those storylines, of course, is his feud with manager Harvey Whippleman in like 1992, that led to the infamous tuxedo match. And then, of course, to top that off, years later, I believe it was in '99 or 2000, he turned heel and started a feud with Lillian Garcia, one of the people who had replaced, had taken over some of his ring announcing roles, in which that culminated in the wedding gown slash tuxedo match. Um, he was also involved in some other storylines, like where a lot, some of his later storylines involved him being kind of the butt of the joke. He was kind of involved in, he kind of got pulled into the X Pac Jeff Jarrett feud in 1999, where Jeff Jarrett had shaved his head, and then he became the cornerman for he became the cornerman for X Pac. Again, the whole feud with Lillian Garcia. Um, then, of course, as we get in, and then in the later '90s, first on Raw, and then eventually when SmackDown premiered in 1999, his ring announcing roles had kind of started to reduce, and in which Lillian Garcia eventually was brought in to take over the ring announcing role on Raw, and then um, and then Tony Chimmel took over. Basically had become the main ring announcer on SmackDown, and then later Justin Roberts. Now during this time in the in the 90s, late as his career, you know in the late 90s and into the 2000s, of course, he would still be the house show and that ring announcer. He would do house shows. He'd do a lot of the Madison Square Garden shows. By the 2000s, he was taking on a lighter schedule as he was getting older and stuff like that. So he would the 2000s, you would see him less and less, but it was for like special events. Now, of course, one of his other big highlights was back at WrestleMania 9 during the Roman Coliseum themed WrestleMania, the WrestleMania in which Yokozuna had beaten Bret Hart for the W WWF World Heavyweight Championship. Then Hogan came in, beat him. Of course, Howard Finkel was renamed for that one event, Finkus Maximus. Now, as we get back to the 2000s, of course, as I said, you'd start seeing him less and less on TV. Kind of, but he would still come for for special events. Like 2012, he came out for a couple of special events, like the Blast from the Past episode of SmackDown, as well as Raw's 1000th episode. Howard Finkel was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2009 by another the late Hall of Famer, Mean Gene Okerlund. Um, Now, of course, in the 2000s as well, even though his ring announcing duties had been reduced, he would also would serve on announcer on a number of the WWE.com programs, including you'd see him on like the JBL and Cole show, Edge and Christian show. He was even involved in the WWE exclusive Legends House. Um, a true legend in the business, right up there with other famous ring announcers like Michael Buffer and stuff like that. Finkel had been with the company for over 40 years. Um, at the time of his death a week ago, he had been in declining health due to a stroke from last year, from over a year ago. He suffered a stroke back in February of 2019 and had been in declining health since. So that so we mark the passing of the Fink, Howard Finkel, longtime voice, longtime ring announcer for the WWF slash WWF slash WWE. Now, a moment of silence. Okay, so with that out of the way, now now with that out of the way, now let's move on to something a little brighter. This day in each history. Um, so today is April 23rd. So what happened on this day in history, in each history? So let's find out, shall we? First off, on this date in 1911, over 100 years, 109 years ago, um, Little Nemo, the main fictional character in the weekly comic strip by Winsor McCay, um, ended its run in the New York ended its run in New York Herald before moving on to William Randolph Hearst newspapers. Um, at the time, while Little Nemo was part of the New York Herald, it was titled Little Nemo in Slumberland. So on this date in 1911, Um, Little Nemo would finish its run in the New York Herald before moving on to William Randolph Hearst newspapers a week later. So, also on this date in 2004, the first volume of B.O.D.Y. Um, was released by Shueisha. B.O.D.Y. was a shoujo romance and drama manga that had been serialized by Betsatsu Margaret from 2004 until 2008. Um, Individual chapters were collected and published in 15 takodon volumes by Shueisha, with the first volume being released on this date in 2004. So on this date, 16 years ago, the first volume of the shoujo romance and drama manga B.O.D.Y. Um, was released on this date. And we move ahead to 6 years ago from the, or 10 years from the last point. On this date in 2014, going DC Comics released on the newsstands All Star Western Volume 3, Issue 30, as well as Aquaman Volume 7, Issue 30, on this date in 2014. On this date in 2014, um, the 30th issues of All Star Western Volume 3 and Aquaman Volume 7 were released on this date in 2014. With all that being said, if you guys want to contact me directly, you can. My Discord link is below. You can check the link below. My Discord link is down there. You can direct message me there. You can you can look through and check out the Discord if you'd like. Um, Check out the Discord if you'd like. Join if you'd like. I'm also still promoting a bunch of different dub companies. Um, right now would be a good time to check out some of the work of some of those other, dub companies. You know, like Bang Zoom or Viz. Sentai, Headline Sound Studios, Media Blasters, Ocean Studios, Blue Water. Check out some older stuff. Check out some newer stuff. Wherever you can find them. Um, also, let me see. I'm also still promoting the GoFundMe's. As always, guys, never feel like you have to donate. If you always, never feel like you have to donate. If it's on your heart to do so and you have the means to do so, please consider donating. If you have already donated, please consider donating again. And if you cannot donate, if you don't have the means to, not if you're in a position where you can't donate, you can still help out the cause by sharing the link. Because sharing is caring. You never know. Maybe there's some of your circle friends who might see the stuff and might say, "Yeah, I want to help out too." Never know. Doesn't hurt to ask. And also, let's see, if you like this content, please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. I really look forward to the conversation with you guys. Long force is civil and respectful. And I do appreciate the likes. Um, I appreciate your I appreciate your continued support, and I hope you guys get a lot of information from these videos. I hope they're entertaining and informative. To get to just remind you guys of options out there and looking some other stuff up. With some of the garbage going on in the world right now. Sometimes looking to the past can be a nice respite as well. Um, Looking to simpler times. So with that, I hope you guys will catch this video. I hope you guys will watch this whole video through. Um, And don't forget, this Friday is the next Voices premiere, in which I'll be um, highlighting Bryce Papenbrook. And until, in fact, Friday's tomorrow, in fact. So until tomorrow, guys, bye.